my spider fell out of my beard.
You got to keep it for the show, man.
They're my babies.
If it falls out, we'll stop down and we'll reset because we need that. We need that in there.
Got to get the photographer to take a picture of the still so we know right where so we have continuity.
Continuity.
Of the spider, not constantly.
If there's a cut in the show, wrong. Everyone will know. We'll get so many comments. Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna start the show.
You zenning yourself?
Welcome. What are you doing? I was about to start. And you're like, I'm going to comment.
You took
I
20 seconds to center yourself.
I got to center myself.
I'm sorry.
Did you ever hear about what's his name? Ken Jeong? Have you ever heard about him?
No, for sure not.
So he like has to get into it. And so he like walks around. He's like, dead babies, dead babies, dead babies, dead babies. And weird stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if he really says dead babies, but he says weird stuff.
Weird
and the other people are like, what the hell? So he can like, ready to act.
All right. Hey, everyone's got their process. I'm sorry I interrupted yours. Back to one, everybody.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
You're right. I should have let you psych yourself up because that was such a low-key entrance.
No energy. Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
And I'm Tony.
Just barely. Oh, my God. This week, we're finishing up Halloween month of October, the month of Halloween.
It's the best month of the year, everybody.
Best Christmas is the best month of the year.
It's Halloween.
We watched a brand new Netflix, not special, but just a movie.
It did feel kind of like a special, though. It was a little bit like a after-school special.
It did feel a little like a Sunday night movie or something that they didn't spend a lot of money on. God, there was something in the middle of the movie where I was like, CGI maybe, like do something that's a little, you're like, make it look like something. I don't know, but we did Hubie Halloween, which is an Adam Sandler joint,
Happy
directed
Madison,
by some guy.
Again.
I like how at the beginning I used to do all this research on the movies. Now I'm like, whatever.
It's not worth it.
So 2020, star-studded cast, sort of. I mean, it's people when you see them.
Yeah, and it's almost all of the regulars, the Happy Madison regulars, a good deal of them.
I did not know that was Rob Schneider until the credits.
Because is it the hair? Did the hair throw you? Everything?
The hair?
The face?
And his voice was I did not get any Rob Schneider out of
he
Rob
wasn't
Schneider
doing Rob Schneider shtick. That's for sure.
Did anybody other than Adam Sandler do shtick?
Yes. I feel like Tim Meadows did a little bit. Tim Meadows. Little bit.
You were like, okay, we'll get into all this.
Yeah.
So we start off at the state hospital and someone has escaped and it's Ben Stiller is the guard. He doesn't really get to do anything funny.
Well, it's a callback to Happy Gilmore, his nursing home. I don't know, people that work in the nursing home. What's that called? Anyhow, he works at the grandma's nursing home in Happy Gilmore, and is like that same character is really mean, and it's just kind of it's a callback to the better days, is what I would say.
I mean, I was like thinking about it. I don't think I've ever seen Happy Gilmore. I don't think I've made it. I don't think I've seen Little Nicky.
That's okay.
I've made
Little
it through
terrible.
the Big Brother one or Little Brother or whatever the brother one is. I watched that
brother
at some point. Yeah, he like adopts like a little kid or something.
Oh, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. Whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen that one. And then I watched The Waterboy. I watched like the first half an hour Waterboy, and I feel like I've seen a fair amount of The Waterboy.
Yeah.
If you and this movie is just basically The Waterboy.
Yeah, hot take. If you've seen 5 minutes of Waterboy, you've seen all of Waterboy. I don't like Waterboy. I'm one of those people that likes Adam Sandler, but really strongly dislikes Waterboy. But Billy Madison, you never saw Billy Madison? That's
golf
when he goes back to school. Back to school.
I haven't seen that. Dan. I think I've seen the golf one. I think I've seen part of the golf one,
which is great. Which is where Julie Bowen comes from. That's why she's in this movie, because she's the love interest in that movie as well.
And did it make sense in that movie?
In that movie, yes. In this movie, not even the slightest bit, and it was so bizarre.
It was embarrassing, right?
For both of them, really. If I'm being honest, I don't know. Anyhow,
she had to deliver these lines where she was acting like she was interested in. Well, okay, so we're at the state hospital. He goes in there, and the guy is broken out, and he flips open the sheet, and there's all this Jello and hot dogs in the form of a person. Now, I guess there was one hot dog, a giant hot dog down in his man region, which I did not notice.
I didn't notice that either. Dang it. I missed a good bit.
Shannon watched it, and Shannon watched like the first. Okay, here's the whole. Let me give you the whole Shannon thing. Shannon said, "Why are you guys doing that movie? That looks like a good movie." Because she watched the trailer, and I was like, "You watched the trailer and thought this was a good movie?" So then she watched the first 20 minutes, and she's like, "I take it back."
Did you rub it in her face? Like, yeah, Shannon.
Every day.
No way. No way, Dan.
But she, of course, noticed the hot dog, penis hot dog. I did not notice it. Tony did not notice it. I noticed the hot dog face.
Yeah.
Which I thought the hot dog face was very funny.
I'll be honest,
it was very funny.
This opening scene, I was like, yes, this is going to be a classic Sandler flick, and I'm very excited. And it was all downhill. Pretty much.
And I mean, I thought it was a good little bit. Yeah. But she, with the penis, she was all like, and that kills it, because that's the thing with this movie is they kind of do some stuff that's kind of funny, and then they go just 7 times too far, and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah. I wrote one of my only notes. I have like 8 notes on this whole movie, but one of my only notes was I felt like there were some high highs where I was really enjoying myself, and then just the lowest of lows where I was like, this is garbage, absolute trash.
And we will say this right at the beginning. This is no Love Guru.
Of course.
Adam Sandler gets a thumbs down, but he doesn't get a quit comedy.
Right, like just pack it up, move out of the country, start something new.
So poor then we meet. Oh God, what's his name? Now I can't even think of his name. Dubois, Hubie Dubois.
What's his full name?
He writes Hubie Dubois.
Do you remember?
Dubois is his last name.
It's one of my
Shitbird.
Bit that
I don't know.
Really miss is Hubert Schubert is his Hubert Schubert Dubois is his full name. They say it one time in the movie, and I was like, no, that's a funny name. Give me a couple of them at least.
I totally missed that one. So he's playing a simpleton again.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel right nowadays. I don't know that we do that anymore, do we?
Even if and maybe that's the case. Maybe that's why it felt so wrong. I don't know, because I felt the same way. But then I went back and I did watch some older clips, and I was like, it still feels fine to me. And maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know, but there was something missing from Hubert Schubert that I feel like his other characters had that allowed me to be like, oh, okay, I'm in. I'm okay with this. I don't know what it is.
So with him playing a simpleton in The Waterboy, you're still kind of okay with that, but this one it felt like it wasn't okay anymore.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't dedication. It's not like he didn't go for it. He definitely went for it. So I don't know.
I disagree with you.
Oh, really?
I disagree with you. I think it ranged all over the place. If you really watch the movie and you watch he's not very consistent with it. It kind of like,
maybe that is the problem.
He plays it super simple, and then he sort of, because that's the other thing is they give him bigger vocabulary.
Yes.
And so because they have like a tiny bit at the end that they have to sort of justify that with.
Yeah. And
so it feels like he isn't that character. He kind of like drifts in and out of it.
Maybe that was I'll be honest with you. I'm going to watch this movie again at some point just to recap what happened. Cause again, there was some fun parts that I really enjoyed. And maybe I'll try to pay more attention to that. Cause maybe that was why it didn't feel quite right. Like it never worked for me.
Yeah. So he's in Salem, Massachusetts, place where the witches were.
Great.
He's riding his bike, and the kids are chasing him, and they start throwing eggs at him, which he dodges. Then he like catches in his thermos, and then at one point he like catches in his mouth and then barfs.
Well,
like why did he projectile barf?
Because he caught all the eggs and then he shook them up, so it was like shells and everything and just raw eggs. And he's like, I don't remember who he said. Was it Rocky style? I don't know. But then he drinks the eggs. Yeah, classic.
It's just like this projectile vomit, which you're like, oh, that's very weird. And then he sees.
I'm still in at this point, by the way. Like, I'm still laughing pretty hard. I enjoyed that scene. And I think that's the last time I laughed for a while. I can't remember, but you'll tell me.
And I think my favorite part of the movie is coming up in a second here.
Okay.
So we I knew my inner comedy writer was like, oh, they're just going to escalate this, and each time it's going to be bigger things. They kind of did. It was like a flaming spear they didn't, it wasn't like piano, like elephant.
Sure.
By the end, cruise liner, which, that's what it should have been, just absurd.
It's, and I feel that way about a lot. I think all of their running gags in the movie. I don't think that they ever paid them off appropriately. And so all of those ended up falling flat for me.
It's okay. I'm going to bring something up when we get to it. And so he sees Julie Bowen, who he's in love with and been in love with since school. And then she married Kevin James in a giant beard.
Yeah.
Which seems crazy to take Kevin James and put him in a giant beard so like he cannot be comedic.
Yeah.
And then not give him really a comedic role. It's like, I'm not a big Kevin James guy, but he's funny. And he has a number of skills. They took all those skills off the table.
That is correct. And the beard looked terrible.
And the beard looked so fake. And so he kind of makes eyes at her and then crashes his bike. Boom, crashed into the.
Oh, you're right. No, I'm still laughing. Because this part's funny. Laughing. Yep. I enjoyed that. And then when she looks over and he's doing pretending to be one of the animatronic guys, I'm still laughing. Still having a good time.
Yep. So now we see where he works. He works as a butcher with another kid who's like an Indian kid. Now we have this whole sort of thing in here where people are freshmen.
Yes.
Like Julie Bowen's main son is a freshman.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's in college, or does that mean he's a freshman in high school?
High school. They're all high school for sure.
They're all high school.
Yeah.
And so somehow this kid who's in high school, I don't know if he's also a freshman, but
he's not, because he makes a comment later about dating underclassmen. So he's definitely either a junior or a senior. He's older.
But these kids don't really feel like they're in high school.
Nope, not
because
at all.
They feel like they have full-time jobs.
They certainly do. Like 100%. They have like real jobs. Is school even happening? Like, I don't totally understand. They go to like a school dance at one point, but they never, and I guess at the butcher, they make a comment like, shouldn't you be in school? It's Sunday, you dumbass, or whatever they say to him. So like,
they do.
I guess they use that, but it never, I don't know. It just,
this whole movie sort of doesn't set up its parameters. It doesn't set up like Halloween weekend, boom, we're out of school, because they don't really, it's all Hubie. They don't ever really want to concentrate on the family. But when they do concentrate on the family, they act like the movie is about the family.
Yeah.
And so you're sort of thrown off. You're like, at one point they sort of restart the movie feeling with the family. And you're like, I'm untethered. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, yes. And they should probably have stuck with that movie. In my
the family movie.
Yes. I think so.
I think it should have been about him and his relationship with her kids.
Because that's the best
like
part.
The thing.
Like that 10-minute part where he's out looking for the kids and he like everything with those kids is the best part of that movie for me. The cornfield thing happens. I'm sure we'll get there, but real quickly at 47 minutes.
Oh,
into
I'm
the
not
movie,
recording. God damn it. Oh, you keep tricking me, Tony.
I'm sorry. I don't know how I'm tricking you. But
welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. If you missed the first 20 minutes, that's because I forgot to record it.
We're fine. So the cornfield happens at 47 minutes into the movie, and to me, that's where the movie starts. Like the movie starts at 47 minutes. I have the first 5 minutes, I'm on board, and then there's 40 minutes of this movie that I think could just be lifted right out of the film, and I would be totally fine.
Okay, so he's a butcher. We meet Ray Liotta, who calls him Hubie, which that got a laugh out of me.
Yeah, great nickname. Great job, guys.
So this is where we get your "It's Sunday, dumbass" line. There are the kids that were harassing him, and the kid, this is my favorite part of the whole movie. Oh. The kids are rolling out with a shopping cart, and it is just stacked with eggs and toilet paper. And I think this is the movie this movie needed to be, where you like immediately in your brain, you go, how is that kid going to pay for all those eggs and all that toilet paper? And then I shouldn't care.
That's right.
Because things are going to be so absurd like that, where it's just going to be, but they try to also play a grounded game.
And that's the dichotomy between those two is so like, there's like a whole valley in between that they don't deal with. And that's like, if they were able to meld it, great, but they're not. They just kind of flip back and forth and expect you to kind of just go with them. And I was like, it just doesn't feel like a cohesive movie. It feels like two different movies that you're doing right now.
And well, I think back on like Better Off Dead. Have you seen Better Off Dead?
Yes.
And Better Off Dead, like his brother gets hookers and builds a spaceship, and there's like a crab that lives in the stew, and the little $2 kid. There's just all these absurd things, but then it also goes back to a very grounded, very emotional story. I guess maybe because the emotional story was never felt like an actual emotional story.
Yes.
And the ungrounded part didn't really go to any higher levels. It just sort of walked around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the kid that works with him scares him with a lamb's head in the case.
How did he get in there, Dan?
I know that angered my mom too. I mean, not my mom, my Shannon.
Oh, I am sending Shannon that clip immediately. It just made me mad because he can't get in there. That's not a thing. It's not a thing.
So we meet Kevin James in the beard, and we talk about the guy, Richie Hartman, who escaped from the asylum, who I guess they both knew and like tormented or something.
Well, so Hubie was friends with him back in the day. They were friends. And then Kevin James was kind of a bully, is kind of the way I looked at it.
Okay. So really this guy would have no reason to be going after Hubie at all.
But they're not going after Hubie.
Yeah, we'll find that out. So we once again, then we have the second chase with the kids in the scream masks, and they're throwing stuff, including like a pipe wrench, and Hubie like dodging it all. I like the pipe wrench.
No, that's totally fine, and I enjoyed the all the tricks he did on the bike. But again, that doesn't come back. he doesn't have, there's not another scene where he does like crazy tricks on a bike. Why do you set that up if that's not a part of something further down the road?
Yeah, it's once again they've given this character magical things for no right when he needs them, and then it's like, and that's the other whole sort of conceit of this is he has this magic thermos that can do everything. It can be a vacuum, it can be an umbrella, it can shoot flamethrowers. No, it doesn't. It shoots a flare gun at the end. He makes one that does that, and there's no explanation. There's no, you're a mechanical genius, you're this, you're that. It's just...
Well, the explanation is I made it when I was in the Scouts.
Did he say that?
That's what he says. Yeah.
So they do drop one line.
They drop one line, but it doesn't work for me only because you don't make all of those things in the Scouts. Like if the canteen only did things that you get like Scout badges for, I'm on board with that explanation. And then you find creative ways to use those badges. Like that's great. But it's just a magical canteen that does literally anything at any time. Not okay.
Yeah, so it's really stupid. So he crashes again, and we meet Steve Buscemi's character, Walter Lambert.
Too good for this movie.
And he plays it like a ghost. He like doesn't put any mustard on it. He's just like, I'm a gentle old gentleman. Yeah. And it's like, once again, it feels really out of place.
Yeah. Because so many people feel like they're in different movies in this movie. So I didn't pay attention. Who directed this? Was it Adam? Or was it someone different?
It was a dude. I think he co-wrote it with him, I think.
Okay, so you do have someone behind the camera watching these things happen.
No,
yeah. There wasn't a cohesive feel to the direction of the actors. It kind of just felt like, oh, you guys are great. You've been around forever. Do whatever you want to do. It's going to be great, which is fine, but it just didn't work. Everyone felt like they were taking a different spin on what they were doing. And Buscemi was just like super naturalist. Like I love Buscemi, and I loved him in this movie, sort of. I loved what he did in the movie. He didn't feel like he belonged in the movie. Does that make sense?
That's the thing I always say about what's her name in the stupid Inception. The girl that comes in there and writes the programming.
Oh, sure. Yep. Yeah.
She like walks into that movie as like a real human being.
Yeah.
And blows up the entire movie, because then you're just like, oh, and she's surrounded by all these caricatures of action films. Yep. Ellen Page. And she's like so real. It makes the whole movie, it just, in my opinion, it destroyed the movie. And I thought it was incredible. So there's a whole fart joke thing with him. It's really weird.
Yeah. It did, swing and a miss, guys. He like invites him over to dinner, right? And he's like, my stomach says yes. And then he's like, he farts. Your butt just made room. I don't know. It didn't work.
So then we meet his mom. So once again, he only has a mom, and she wears comical T-shirts throughout the show. And the first one is boner donor shirt. And then she teaches him that boner means to screw something up, and so then he misuses boner a number of times during the movie.
Yeah, which
he just heard the word boner,
right? So
as a 47-year-old man,
yeah, like you're telling me he made it through middle school and high school never hearing the word boner. I'm a little bit younger than him, but boner was our favorite word in middle school. It would boner everything. So no, sorry. It doesn't work.
And this is where we learn that mom says, what this movie is about is you have to learn to stand up for yourself.
Which he doesn't really.
He does not learn this.
He doesn't learn it at all. And that's upsetting to me.
Yeah, he really never gets there. And then he says, I get scared.
Okay, so him getting scared is another bit that dies off. It doesn't. Why? It's my favorite running gag that they do, only because the moment when he walks in the house and the whatever the animatronic thing like makes a noise, and he knocks the frickin' head off. That is probably the biggest laugh of the movie for me. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what they do next with this. But that was the best one. And that was early in the movie. The only other funny one is when he maces the guy in the haunted house to me, which is also funny. But then they kind of waste that joke, which is a bummer. We can talk about that later. But there's some fun bits. Stick with your bit and build on it. Don't keep throwing new bits in. You know, like if you find something that's going to work, really exploit that for me. That's what Adam Sandler used to do, in my opinion, is they would just hit it and hit it and hit it. And they don't do that. They don't do that in this.
Yeah. So now he's going through a yearbook and he sees Violet Valentine, who's Julie Bowen's character, and he's all in love with her. And
which is it's a weird scene because he's like talking to himself while staring at old. It was very sad and very weird, and I'm never really on board with Hubie. I'm not like, oh yeah, you should get the girl, because I don't think he should.
I was never sympathetic.
Yeah,
when bad things happened to him, I was like, he's kind of, right? I mean, and I'm not that person, I'm the Hubie character. Tony's not. Tony's the bully, and I'm the Hubie character.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you can't make that character feel sympathetic to me, you have failed, because everybody sort of feels, you feel that they're sort of justified in their way that they torment him.
And that's so. I think I feel like in the movie they feel the same way that we do. Like the people that made it were like, why isn't he sympathetic? You know what we should do? Just make everyone twice as mean to him for no reason. So instead of making him a more sympathetic character, they try to make his circumstances more sympathetic, and it just doesn't work, because the whole time I'm like, yeah, I'd be really mean to this guy. Like, this guy is a total loser. I would be so mean to him. And I think he deserves it. That's the long and short of it.
Tony.
No, I don't know. It's just, they just don't make him the hero of the story, which is weird because it's a 2-hour movie about him being the hero of the story.
And the bad guys don't even feel like they're that bad. Nope. You're not like, it's just everybody's sort of casually bad to him and mean to him. And so, in a sense, there's not the good people and the bad people. There's just everybody's sort of bad at a general level.
Yeah. Yep.
So then we see the guy that escaped from the thing peeing in the street looking at Hubie's house. It's really strange.
It is strange, but this is one of the only minuscule bits that I did feel paid off, because the one line at the end when he's like, oh, what have you been doing? It's just like, I peed on this, peed on that. Yeah, like that's just a funny throwaway line that's like, I don't know why I had to see all that, but I got a laugh out of it.
So then we do the morning show, and every woman on the morning show is dressed like Harley Quinn, which I thought was a very funny bit.
It's a great bit. I do feel like when they started explaining it, it lost it for me. But when it was just visually happening, I was like, yeah, that's funny. Idiots.
Oh, they explained it.
The last person that does it, does the explanation, oh, when else it's the one day a year I can show my ex what he's missing. Hey. I was like, just wear the same costume like idiots.
So now we have and so we sort of see that there's going to be this big parade and a big party, and once again, it doesn't set up that there's going to be this one situation where something's going to happen. It's just really, no place where it's we're going to put the bomb right there. And so we know that that's coming.
No, it's all super vague. It's just Halloween, and he's going to protect people on Halloween. Yeah.
So now we go to this farm, and there's a dead pig, and then there's these two characters that interact terribly.
Are they characters?
Caricatures that interact, and when you really look back from the end of the movie and you're like, why does any of this exist? It actually does nothing for the movie, and it is explained away in a line for no reason.
Yep.
At the very end of the movie. And so you're like, why?
That's why I think that this middle 45-minute section literally lifts right out of the movie. When you get to the corn maze, something happens. And then we have like a trajectory that we follow. Before that, it's nothingness. There's a couple, it's just kind of like, what jokes can we throw out? And that most of them don't work. Like, get to your plot, guys. Criminies.
Then we're in the museum, the witch museum, and this is when Hubie and Valentine Violet get together and sort of talk, and you can tell she's in love with him for no reason because he's nice or something.
Yep. I mean, that's it. It's because he's a nice guy.
There was actually one funny joke. There's a funny Captain Underpants joke. Like they said, like Captain Underpants, somebody dressed as Captain Underpants did something.
But we don't.
And I'm like, Captain Underpants joke.
I would love to see Captain Underpants as a human, but we don't get that. We just get a one line thrown away. And my whole thing about this Julie Bowen arc is that I'm not a huge fan. I'll just say that. So maybe this is tainting that a little bit, but it feels so forced, not just in the writing, but like her acting. She's like pushing it so hard. And I'm like, what is happening? I don't believe that you are interested. Like, I don't believe anything that's happening. And you're just pushing so hard. It's weird. She's like, I really like you. You're so nice. You're so nice. It's, all right. Pump the brakes.
Did you see the Shazam movie?
Of course.
I really liked it.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm trying to think and in that movie, there's two foster parents who have all these foster kids. Mm-hmm. And, the dad's kind of a big guy. I don't remember who the wife was, but they just felt like real normal people that would have foster kids. And if she was like a real normal person that would have foster kids, you would buy into this relationship way more. But I don't think Adam Sandler can have someone that's like less than incredibly. Yes, Shannon, Mom. I mean, it feels like he has to hire someone that's like attractive.
Yeah, and listen, I'm okay with that, but like, make me believe it.
Yeah. So then, and then Michael Chiklis is a priest, and they're burying Ray Liotta's dad, and so he has to go look at this gravestone to see when.
Oh my God!
Walter Lambert died.
Hold on. You're skipping over one of the worst parts of the movie, is where she just offers up that information out of basically nowhere.
Oh yeah, yes, she does.
He says the name, and then she's like, "Oh, that's so weird. I saw that name on a gravestone at one point." Like, what? Like, what are you?
But more importantly, it was her dad's. I think it was her dad's gravestone, which is somehow right next to Ray Liotta's dad's. It's like just so much coincidence and absurdity to get characters in positions to have situations.
Yeah, and situations is maybe overstating it. I don't even know if they get into situations.
So Michael Chiklis is the priest, who I thought in that first scene was kind of good. I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be fun. And then he never gets to be fun.
No, he doesn't.
And it all ends with Ray Liotta pushing Hubie in the grave, and then the grave digger throwing dirt on him, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, which is a fun bit.
He should have like scooped one on there, then the other guy should have come with the tractor and
pushed it in.
Pushed like a whole bunch of dirt, And I'm down here.
Yeah, but he doesn't even he just my soup. That's like as good as we get from that scene. I just do something more. Do something.
Then we do the throwing stuff gag again, where it's somewhat escalated. I think they did a watermelon at this point, which I thought was funny. Then we go back to Steve Buscemi. He is boarding up his house.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. And he also had told him earlier that there's going to be weird noises coming from the house.
Right. So you're like, oh, okay, this guy's a werewolf. Which is great. I love werewolves. Again, doesn't really go anywhere.
So now he's at the kids' school and he's going to give a talk about Halloween, which of course doesn't make any sense that they keep bringing him back since they know the kids aren't going to like him.
Yeah.
And the kids boo him. And then he pulls out a sign that says ghost. And then he does a whole give away your candy thing. And you think he's going to go GHOST, and he only does G.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we're kind of actually happy about him. And then all the kids, Cookie, the littlest girl, who I thought was very cute and I thought was really good.
Yep, absolutely.
I thought underused and wasted.
For sure. I mean, that's a lot of characters in this movie. Like a lot of the good people don't get a lot of screen time, and then a lot of people that are like, why are you in this movie doing what you're doing, get tons of screen time. It's strange.
So the kids all throw the food, and the thermos turns into an umbrella, which protects him. Yeah. And he catches a sandwich, and then he's eating the sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, lift it right out of the movie. No reason for this to be there. What
if the kids threw an amount of food that is unimaginable? Where it's just like, it is buffeting him back and out the door.
I'm on board. But this isn't a real bit. This is just like, I think the bit is the thermos. I think that's the joke somehow. And that's not a joke, guy. It's a stupid thing. Don't use the thermos. I wish the thermos wasn't in the movie, other than when it's on the string. That's the only thing I think it should do.
When was it on the string?
When they're in the movie theater and she's like, don't lose your thermos. He's like, oh, that'll never happen. And then he throws it and it comes right back to his hand. That's the only time that I was like, oh, that's an all right gag with the thermos.
Because it wasn't motivated by it solving a problem for no reason.
Correct. It was just something that like this guy would probably have because it's his thermos. You know, you can't lose your thermos.
So I wrote kid plot line. That might have been when the kids go... saves a cat. Maybe that was the point at which... Let me see. That might have been the point at which the kids meet the girl. The boy meets another girl at the coffee place.
Yep.
And so that's...
Which I like the stuff with the kids. Like I enjoy all the scenes. I think they do a good job. I love, Will's great from Stranger Things. I don't know the girl.
That was Will from Stranger Things, the boy?
Yeah, weird, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they grow up so fast, Dan.
Wow.
So fast. But I wish that the story was just about them getting in trouble, Hubie saving them, and then like winning over the mother because he's so good with the kids. I would buy that. I'd be okay with that.
So I think now we've hit Halloween, right? Yeah, so we're doing Halloween night.
Finally. Jesus.
We're getting in there. We'll maybe get to that at some point. We're going to get to the corn maze in another
when the
page.
Movie begins?
Another page.
Jesus Christ.
Another page, then we get to the corn maze.
Oh, my God.
So Hubie's out there. He's wearing his patrol sash. He saves a cat who turns into... It's Melissa Villaseñor's cat.
Oh, I knew I recognized her, but I couldn't place her.
Yes. So he saves the cat, and then he takes the cat and he throws it at her.
Yep.
Yeah. Tony, should you throw a cat at someone?
You should never throw a cat for more than one reason. One, because I'm sure it's dangerous for the cat. But more importantly, that cat is going to claw when it's like get close to something. Like it's going to dig into her face and tear it off, which would have been a fun bit.
Yes. And so she like yells some stuff and then runs in the house. And she's like this weird character that we don't understand, that I thought was going to maybe be a villain, but she isn't. She's just obnoxious. And she appears one more time in a window and yells at him. And there's some sort of implication of some sort of shared past that we never get into. And we have no idea. And what's her name is there? Violet's there. And she's like, you're so strong. and
now
is in love with him some more.
What I was a little confused, was Violet the one that almost ran over the cat?
I don't know.
Because, like, in my head, and this might be totally wrong, I thought that Violet was the one that came for the cat, and then he saved the cat, threw it away, and then she, like, turned around to be like, he saved your cat. He's a hero. Like, I thought she was trying to build him up, but I could just be reading too much into it.
It was confusing and vague. I also was confused if it was her or not. And then we meet Mr. Hennessy, played by Tim Meadows. And he is just on the cusp of doing some really good work.
Just almost.
And it's not his fault.
No.
But you're like Tim's almost there, and then they do a strange noises bit. What was the strange noises bit?
Well,
what was that about?
It was one of the only other notes that I wrote down is that they missed a gag. Like, they tried to do the gag, but they didn't do it. The stranger, he was like, "Oh, I just heard a noise," and Hubie's like, "What did it sound like? Did it sound like this?" And then he would do a noise. But he did the same noise 2 of the 3 times. He did one noise, changed it up a little bit, and then went back to the first noise. And I was like, what are you doing? Make the noises super weird. Like, go bananas. Start with like a, row, was it like that? And then go crazy. Like, make weird sounds, because Tim Meadows' response is to be like, what? No, stop it. Like, he's supposed to be stupid. And I don't know. It's just nothing. They just don't go for it, Dan.
They never went for it.
They never go for anything. Very disappointed in this movie.
So now he gets back home, and there's noises coming from the neighbor's house. So he breaks into the neighbor's house and goes downstairs, and there's poop on the floor, which was really disgusting.
Yeah.
And there's dog food cans, and then he's a werewolf. Sort of.
Ish. Yeah, ish. He's just...
I guess that was the point, is he never was a werewolf. He only ever had some hair on his arms.
Which is apparently glued on. Which they say later. I don't know if that was real or they just... I don't know.
Yeah, Keenan's character says that was glued on. So we're never even really sure if he was a werewolf or not.
Which is so frustrating to me. Like, just make him be a werewolf. You're doing a Halloween movie. Just make him be a werewolf. Like, I need to know that he's a werewolf, because otherwise the whole thing is not funny to me.
So then the police station, we get a montage of him going to the police station, doing a sort of Boy Who Cried Wolf sort of thing.
Yep.
None of those were funny.
None of those were funny at all. Like why aren't there any jokes in there, Dan?
Literally the easiest bits to write ever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so weird. With the weird noises, they don't do any jokes. And then they don't do any jokes in this scene where it's literally fast cuts of him theoretically doing bits. Like, that's all it should be, is just bit.
He should run in there with like a fish on his arm. Like just these anything visually arresting. And I couldn't even tell you, I didn't even write down what any of them were, because none of them meant anything.
Yeah, the only joke we get in that scene is when Keenan follows him in on the last one. It's like, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize him, which is hardly even a joke, but like, I guess.
Oh, and this is when my wife had to turn it off. He has asthma.
A couple people have asthma in this movie, Dan.
2 people had asthma in this movie for no reason.
Why? Why is that a thing?
Do you know why people have asthma?
In real life?
No, in movies.
No.
What it is, it's a fake weakness. So the idea is you give them asthma so that they have a weakness, but it's not it's a weakness that can be overcome with just the most simple of, problem solved. And so you're trying to build character in there by giving them a weakness and ailment. It never is. And so people that have asthma, my wife, who has struggled with it her entire life, it has killed her once. So
wait, how long was she dead?
A couple minutes. She's been dead.
Good God, Dan.
Yeah, man, I live with a dead person, the undead. I live with the undead. So it offends her, and it offends me too, living with someone with asthma, where it's a very serious thing, and they use it as a prop.
It's just a device that it never works. Like, it literally never works. I don't know why it keeps happening. But my biggest problem is when Tim Meadows then has it. Like, if they give it to Hubie, it's like, never having had that problem, I'm like, whatever, this is just dumb, I don't care. But then when Tim Meadows then also pulls out an inhaler, I was like, what? Why? What is the point of that? It's not a funny bit. Do they think that's funny?
Nope.
Because
maybe they do. Maybe they think it's funny. I have no idea.
I don't know. I'm going to ask.
So then we have Tommy goes to the party. Hot coffee girl is there. And then Hubie shows up and is taking drinks away from people. And just like...
Well, yeah, just being an adult.
Being an ass.
Yep.
And then he does a whole boners thing. And then we get to the corn maze.
Okay.
So the Indian kid has lured Hubie into the corn maze to fool him, or what is he just going to make fun of him, or
he's going to scare him? Yeah, because they know that he's a scaredy cat because he works for him and scares him all the time. So this is like the ultimate scare. Tell him there's a kid lost in the corn maze.
So break this. I don't even remember. I don't remember there being anything of interest in this whole corn maze thing.
It's not till at the very end of the corn maze is when the movie begins. So there's this.
So what happens, Tony?
Well, there's like this big scene where he's just walking through leaves for no reason for about 4 or 5 minutes. Super boring. And then finally he, fast forward, blah, blah, blah. The kid, something is in the corn maze and he's tied up and he's got a corn cob in his mouth. And Hubie finds him and he's like, oh, this is a joke, because the kid's already told him it was a joke. And then he's kind of staring and the kid gets yanked back through the cornfield into darkness, which is a cool visual. And I was like, oh, dope. Finally, something's going to happen in this movie, because nothing has happened for 47 minutes, similar to our podcast right now.
We're at 52 minutes and nothing has happened.
Nothing's happened. So he gets pulled into the darkness and I'm like, cool, there's a bad guy. There's something that Hubie's going to have to solve, and it's something supernatural and Halloween-y and super fun. I'm ready for this. And then the better part of the scene is he runs back into the kids. And this is why I think this is where the movie begins. Because he has a great moment with Julie Bowen's kid and his lady interest, and he's like, hey, I won't tell your mom, like, you guys do what you want, but just go take care of your siblings, but I'll keep it a secret. And it's like there's like this really nice character moment for both of them, and I was like, okay, cool. If that continues, I can get on board with him and Julie hooking up. I can get on board with it would have fixed the movie if that's what it was about. Even as that came with him walking around in the party knocking alcohol out of people's hands. I mean,
which doesn't make sense to that, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But again, the movie doesn't start till the cornfield dance. Okay. He
really should be walking around in that party like saying, be careful how much candy you eat. You don't want to get the tummy ache. Correct. He should be like, he is a simpleton. He doesn't know the word boner. So I don't know. So then we have
nobody knows
the whole drive-in scene, and Tim and Maya have a whole scene in the drive-in, which I thought was pretty funny. Tim Meadows' character has these rubber hands. And he starts sucking on the fingers. That one they could have gone way further on.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just that one, Dan. All of the good bits are stopped early.
You know why that bit doesn't work?
No.
Because they make her uninterested in him.
Oh, for sure.
Because she has to be sexually interested in Hubie for some reason, so she can't be sexually interested in him, as opposed to that being this really weird scene where he's sucking on it and she's enjoying it.
She has to be into it. You have to.
But she's not.
No, I know. You have to yes and the joke. Not to bring it back to improv rules, but you have to yes and it. Otherwise, it's just weird. Otherwise, it's just like this awkward thing where somebody hates what's happening and you're just like, why am I watching this? But if they're both into this weird rubber sucking, like it could have been so good because that costume, first of all, is amazing. It's unbelievable. And then even at the end when he's laughing and the hands are like bouncing, this scene should be so funny. And it's just kind of funny.
Well, because you got it. They broke the rules of comedy. The rules of comedy are, we've done all this improv and the whole thing is yes and. And the idea is you don't say no. You don't stop the funny person from doing something funny.
Yeah.
Because then nothing funny is happening and we hate both of you because you don't think what they're doing is funny and we just thought it was funny and we're confused as to why you don't think it's funny and you're stopping it from being funny and then you had better be incredibly funny right after that or you've lost us.
Yeah, and she never really is. That's a good point. She doesn't really have like the reversal of it. For if you nix it, you got to reverse it. That's a good point.
Nix it and reverse it. And I think this is probably the whole thing with the nix it and reverse it. The whole thing with this movie is they don't ever build anything really.
No.
So then there's this weird car and it menaces Hubie and then it turns out to be the kids in the Scream masks, which how?
Well, so Tim Meadows is driving it as his headless character. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
So Tim Meadows has put a car in the he has a second car in the drive-in that's creepy looking that he has planted there because he knows that they're going to want to scare Hubie later and the kids are also like, we're going to show up so we can scare him.
So you're thinking too logically for this movie?
Yeah, I am. And that's the problem with this movie is they don't even have like the basics set up for anything.
I'm going to go
we will
back
get to at the end.
This is the rule that upsets me the most, and I hammer it. I feel like almost every week. Yeah. Set up your own rules of your universe and then fucking follow them. And if you break your own rules, your movie's terrible because no one's on board anymore.
So back in town, the police, there's a missing kid, tell the mayor. Oh, I wrote Wolfman eating a pumpkin? Why did I write Wolfman eating a pumpkin? Because
he runs into him when he's running in the woods. He runs into Steve Buscemi and he's eating a pumpkin. He's like, hey, weird to see you here. And it's a nothing scene that goes nowhere, shouldn't be in the movie. And there you go.
So the kids are out. Oh, two of the kids are out looking for the other kids. So the kids are all looking for the kids.
Yeah,
kids. The two younger kids are looking for the other kids, and they meet the pig man, and you're like, "Oh, they're in trouble," but you don't really feel that because nothing actually happens. So then he goes to the diner, and Julie Bowen is there to pour it on so thick, talking about how he's
thick.
He's her hero for nothing.
He hasn't done anything.
So he orders 3 soups and mixes them together.
And then he's got a blender. I don't understand any of this.
I wrote Tim Meadows, also an asthmatic.
Yeah. Because that's the scarecrow scene then. Which is one of my favorite.
What's the scarecrow scene?
When they're in the car and they're driving, him and his wife are driving.
Yes.
And there's a creepy scarecrow in the road. I love this. This is a great thing that's happening. And
it was good looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it was a creepy scarecrow and then he disappears and then she like goes out and disappears. If there was a couple jokes in there, it probably would have been a really good scene, but there weren't. So like, it's fine. But you said scarecrow more. That was great.
So then we're back to what's his name? The Wolfman, and he has to handcuff himself up.
Yes. Yep.
Where those handcuffs came from, no one will know.
Well, he's a werewolf, so he's got to have his own cuffs at some point, because he's got to lock himself up every full moon, which isn't really something they deal with, and it bothers me. Like, if he has a house, he should have a room that
No,
has,
he just bought the house. He just bought the house.
Listen, Dan, if you're a werewolf, let me tell you something, and you don't want to kill people.
He escaped from the asylum a month ago, or less than a month ago, and then he bought the house.
Yeah. But listen, if you're a werewolf and you've taken the time to board up the windows, first of all, that shouldn't be your first move. Your first move is to reinforce your basement so you can lock yourself up and not murder people. All right? You don't board up the house. Oh, moonlight can't get in. Go downstairs. You don't have any windows down there, you jackass.
I'm going to go to something a little deeper, right?
Oh.
He's going by the name Howard Lampert or whatever it is.
That's close.
Something.
Yeah.
Whatever. How did he buy the house?
Yeah.
He has a fake name. Anyone that has ever bought a house, how much paperwork is there involved in buying a house? About an infinite amount of paperwork. It all has to go through a million legal things and a million of this and a million of that. Where do you get the money to buy a house? Well, that's a good
question. If he just escaped, I don't really have an answer for you. That's
so stupid.
That is stupid. Maybe he bought it in cash and just under the table, couple of duffels.
I guess maybe he rented it, but still, once again, you're going to have to go through a background check. Can't just rent a house.
100%. Yeah. Renting is almost harder because you can't just do that in cash. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to sign some paperwork. I feel like if I was going to buy a house and I just had like $1 million cool in a duffel, I feel like someone would give it to me.
So now we're heading into the haunted house stuff. He's like outside. He sees the dog. He thinks it's the Wolfman. And then we watch the
dog, by the way. Can we just say that?
Pretty.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty.
So pretty.
So the dog poops and then the dog immediately eats its own poop.
Yeah. Still pretty, but dumb. It's dumb dog. Dumb bit. Doesn't make any sense. Why are you showing that to me?
So we go into the haunted house and he does a bunch of dumb stuff. That's dumb.
Well, so the whole one of the running gags is him being scared of everything. Now, this should be the culmination of that.
Yes, and they should go after thing after thing after thing,
and they
escalating.
Just don't go for it. Like it just is so flat. And again, the only part that made me laugh was when he maces this dude in a haunted house, and he's like, "Why would you mace me?" Like that's funny. I need more of that. I need more of inappropriate behavior inside this, these kids' haunted house raising money for their school. Like
cost $2 to get in that haunted house.
Those were the days, huh? But apparently today, I don't understand. I haven't been to a haunted house that cost $2 in 20 years.
No one has. So then everybody's in the house and they're having a meeting and the mayor is there and they're all trying to put everything together. And then Ray Liotta gets stolen, I think, later. Oh, Jesus.
Well, this is where Hubie is like, it's the werewolf guy. I've got your perp. And then it's just resolved.
There's a girl and she's like, that's my dog. And he's like, you need a silver bullet.
Yeah. Like, check his poop later. And then Kevin James calls Keenan and is like, hey, we're looking for this guy. He's like, well, no, I got him right here. They've been here for like 45 minutes, which is funny, but it's just like, hey, what's happening right now?
So you're sitting there and everything has been resolved. Yeah. And you're like, great. Everything is resolved. Why am I watching this? So then we go on another wild goose. He escapes by doing the Frankenstein joke, which I thought was very funny. Yeah. Because he yells Frankenstein and then everyone looks to see where Frankenstein is, even the dog. Which I thought the dog. I thought that was very funny. Yeah. It's a good little bit. So then he goes to the radio station. I don't even know why he went to the radio station. Because he was on the run or something?
He must have. I don't remember either, but he must have heard the host say something that was like, oh, I need to get there. They'll know the answer or something.
He goes there, and we're going to do the big spoiler. The female disc jockey is actually Shaq.
It's his radio voice.
I loved that.
Yeah, no, it's a good bit.
And if they'd done it right, where the only time he talks in that voice is on the radio, but they sort of go back and forth and left and right. And then they have his wife come out, and she has a man's voice and kind of looks like Jack Black. And then they eat food, and it's just like, it's just weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I did laugh when they Lady and the Tramp the sandwich. Like, that's funny. That's a funny bit.
So I guess that's the thing, is they'd have one funny bit, and then they'd put 3 or 4 things around it that weren't funny, and so you'd lose it.
Because instead of focusing on the bit and exacerbating and building on it, they're like, oh, let's throw 3 more bits in there. One of them's sure to land. But that's not the way to do it.
So he goes back home. He finds out that his mom is the bad guy, and that's the end of the movie.
Well, I mean, that's not the end of the movie. There's about
it's the end of the movie.
There's about an 8 to 10 minute scene where everybody monologues for no reason at all. And I'm sitting here just be like, wrap this shit up. What is happening? Oh my God. Why is everybody talking so much?
They are talking so much because they have to try to make this movie into a semblance of something you can understand why anything happened. So what happened was the mom was tired of him being picked on, so she has grabbed these 4 people and is going to burn them at the stake for being dicks. For being dicks, they will die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she lights the match and she throws the match, and then this magic thermos that can do anything, all it can do now is expel the tiniest amount of excess soup to put it out.
Yeah.
And there's a news van of people. Here's a bunch of people about to be burned to death by a little old woman who anyone with their finger could push over and make her die. And everyone's just like, the cops show up. Everyone's just like smoking cigarettes. Like, is something happening? There are about to be people burned to death. Does Hubie like mom comes up with a can of gasoline? Does Hubie walk over and say, "Hey, mom, let me take that from you"? It's right. So stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And then we get the monologues. So
they're all so long. Like, they're each at least a full page of dialogue. They're minutes long, each person, and each set gets their own. And none of them are funny. None of them mean anything. Half of them are like, oh, I'm jealous of Hubie. No, you're not. You're not jealous of him. He's an idiot. You don't like him. Just stick with that. Don't give me this shit. Oh, he's got a big vocabulary. I'm Ray Liotta. I'm dumb.
Ray Liotta. Liotta character, 6 feet tall, chiseled good looks, gorgeous gray hair, beautiful voice. Like,
you got a thing for Ray Liotta?
Yeah, a little bit.
He scares me.
Well, yeah, he should scare you. He beat the shit out of you. Oh, you want out now? You sat under the couch for an hour. Now you want out. Oh my God!
Yeah, take your pup
when the
out.
conclusion.
I'll talk to the people real quick.
The big conclusion of the movie.
If you sit through this movie, 45 minutes can be taken out, and then the last 10 can be taken out. Don't worry, Dad. I was just filling the people in on what's going on.
Oh, Jesus. So Ray Liotta's jealous of him because he's smart. Why is the guy he worked with jealous of him? I don't even remember that one.
He's not jealous of him. He's like, I want people to like me.
Oh, he's a dick. He's a dick because he wants people to like him, and everybody likes Hubie. But no one likes Hubie.
Right.
We've established that no one likes him.
No. He's jealous. You're right. He's jealous of Hubie because he can be himself.
He can be himself.
That bullshit.
Tim Meadows is jealous of him because he has nice hair.
Yep.
He does not have nice hair.
Nope.
Ray Liotta has nice hair.
You're right about that. Beautiful head of hair on that guy.
And then we get to the biggest pretzel of all in the movie.
Is this Maya Rudolph?
Maya has to explain that Tim Meadows is a bad lover, and Hubie gives her hope that sex
could be good.
Could be good.
Because he's never had sex?
She doesn't want to have sex with him. She has no interest in having sex with Hubie. He gives her hope that because he is hopeless in his sexness, it is so horrible.
Doesn't make any sense.
Stupid.
But luckily, they let her go last. So she wraps up the monologues with that nonsense, and you're just left like, what just happened? Why did anybody tell me those stories? None of that made any sense.
And so then the mom is like, and then everybody shows up. So the mom is like, she's got to get away. So she's like, she does the Frankenstein bit again. So we've done it twice, which of course you have to do a bit three times for it to count.
Not in this movie.
Twice. Though. Not in this movie. And then she just disappears cackling into the woods.
So she's a witch, right? She's a Salem witch.
My wife, my mom, my wife. She brings up the very interesting thing is we establish that they're Jewish.
Oh, okay.
Now, the witches were all Puritans.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. But she has to be a witch.
So she has to be a witch because only through some intense magical powers has she done all these kidnappings.
Correct, because she sucks these people into darkness. That can't be done by a human. I'm sorry. Can't be done.
No.
But if you're going to make her a witch, do something witchy at the end. I get like this disappearing and then cackling. Nope, not doing it for me. Let her do some witch stuff. Like all of a sudden she's like a witch, or just make her disappear.
The hat appears on her head. She grabs a broom. She flies off into the night. They half-ass everything like that. Like the werewolf, like you said, is Keenan's like, yeah, some guy came in here and he's got glued on hair on his arms. And you're like,
I don't know.
We don't know. And we don't know.
We don't, because they don't go for anything.
Then we have the future, and the two of them are now married. Hubie is now the mayor. That's a very fast election. So wait, because election mayors probably would be in November, right? I would think. I don't know when mayoral elections occur. Whatever.
I don't know.
So within a year, he's married. He's the mayor. The kids are all calling him Dad.
Yeah.
That was weird. That was uncomfortable calling him Dad. Good about it.
Yeah. Yeah. The entire happy ending was weird to me. Like like the rest of the movie, it just didn't feel right. Nothing felt right.
And once again, we're going to blame the writer. Whoever wrote this garbage, which I think was Adam Sandler and someone else.
I think you're right.
Like, what? Like, write a story. Hire someone that can write. Just...
Yeah. Have someone write the story and you put in some bits. Like, he's funny. Like, I don't think he's not funny. I enjoy his performance. And there's some really great moments in this movie that I laughed really hard at. But it's not a movie. Like, it doesn't work together. And that's a huge problem. You need some outside people working on your stuff. Like, he's in this weird bubble where he can do whatever he wants. And it's not working.
They give you the money and they just say, do whatever you want. And I'm sure this thing's doing great. I'm sure Netflix is completely happy with it because I'm sure tons and tons of people will watch it. And it's fine. And it's not, it's not garbage. It's just... Correct. It's just not... It's 10% of a movie. You're like, can we get it up to 50% of a movie? Is there any reason not to...
Yeah. and this is my kind of movie. Like a dumb, cute, Halloween themed movie should be my number one. That's all of my interests in one: cuteness, silliness, and Halloween. That's my trifecta. And this just missed it.
What movie would this be comparable to? What's a good movie that's comparable to something like this?
Comparable to this? I honestly don't know. But if you want like a
Are you a Hocus Pocus person?
Yeah, I like Hocus Pocus. Yeah, super fun.
And that's a lot more fun than this, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So I guess, that's a good one. I don't know.
And I mean, Hocus, the question I guess is, will there be people that like watch this as kids and then come back to this and are just like, this is my, you always wonder, the 80s turned out Goonies and all those kind of movies.
Did you mean to say Monster Squad there?
No, I said Goonies.
But the Monster Squad, which is the better of the two. Yeah.
I've never seen that. I watched the beginning of Monster Squad and it was pretty low rent.
Dan, wrong.
We're gonna do Monster Squad on here one of these days.
I'm gonna destroy you on that episode.
Next year we'll do Monster Squad. I'll pick it and then I will tear it apart in front of your face, and it'll be fun. I'm trying to think if I liked Hocus Pocus or not.
Did you?
I mean,
oh no, go. Sorry. Yeah. No, go.
What's the premise of it's the three witches in Hocus Pocus and there's two kids. Yeah. The witches want to eat the kids, or what do they want to do to the kids?
That sounds right. I haven't seen it in a while.
Huh. Okay, what were you going to say?
Did you see Goosebumps with Jack Black?
The new one.
Not Goosebumps 2, to be clear.
Yeah, I think I made it through most of it. I thought it was
That's a movie that I enjoy.
Exactly. And that one had a very linear plot line.
Yep.
There was an escalation. There were more and more monsters as they went along. The kids sort of tracked him down based on the books, and then they sort of opened the Pandora's box of all the Goosebump monsters, right? Yeah. Give me a log. I mean, what's the Hubie Halloween log line?
I mean, I guess
Hubie's mom wants to punish people that treat him like shit by burning them to death.
And
Hubie alive. Has to kill his mom. I mean, well, give me a log line. There's no villain. Actually, there's no villain, so there can be no conclusion.
And I right? agree that there's no villain, because even if you pretend, or like, yes, the mom was going to burn people alive, that's probably not allowed. But I will say I'm technically on board with the mom. Like, I agree with her. If her kid isn't able to protect himself, as a parent, your instinct is to protect your kid. So she's not even a bad guy in my mind.
No, she's not. They don't play her like a bad guy. She's allowed to just leave. Yeah. She's ready to burn people alive. And I mean, I'm sure the writer would say to you, well, no, she was just trying to teach everybody a lesson about how we should all be nice and shit. But
by murdering people.
But she was never going to really do that. But she threw the match.
Yeah,
and
she had
the gasoline. She was
going to kill some bitches.
So, where's my spider? I lost my spider. I care about that spider more than this stupid movie.
More than the movie? Oh, no. This spider's gone, man. It's gone.
My spider's gone. Halloween's ruined. Ruined! Wow. Halloween is ruined.
Between Hubie and this, and not being able to trick or treat.
I wrote down TV Kiss. Why did I write down TV Kiss?
Oh my God! Because at the end, with the news cameras are there, so Julie Bowen and her kids are watching the news, watching all this unfold, and then Adam Sandler, Hubie, like dedicates something to Violet, and she goes and like weirdly kisses the TV. Awful bit. Awful.
Do you want me to tell you what my least favorite bit in all movies is?
100%.
When they take. So imagine this is a photograph.
Okay.
They take a photograph and they touch it like it's a person. It's a person. No one has ever touched a photograph like it was something real. No one's going to kiss a television. Tony, I'm in love with you. Let me kiss the camera. You can sit back and go, kisses. Okay, sure. I buy that. But no one is going to climb across the room and literally put their lips up to a TV that's covered in dust. Yeah. Gonna touch a photograph like, I'm fondling you. Oh, you're feeling my... No! Stop. Stupid. It's a photograph. We understand. We're not American Indians from the 1800s where we think, you've stolen my soul. No! It's a photograph. We know that. We don't, when we pick up a magazine and there's Liam, what's his name? The Thor brother, the guy that plays Hemsworth. Thor, Liam Hemsworth. We don't go, oh, Liam Hemsworth is looking at me. He's People Magazine. Ooh, he sees me. No, stop.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it.
Have you touched a photograph?
You give me a nice photo of Jensen Ackles. Yeah, I'll fondle it a little bit.
No, you won't.
I'll touch it up.
You won't.
I'll touch it
no,
up.
You won't.
Play with the pecs a little bit. I mean, that guy's
draw
ripped.
Like extra breasts on that
on my little telephone screen.
We're so pretty. I'm kissing you. I'm kissing him. He's kissing me. Oh, we're kissing. No. Stop it,
honest,
people.
I don't think I've ever really noticed. Now that you're saying, I was like, oh,
I've ruined it for you now.
Yeah,
God,
I'll see it all the time.
Okay, once you notice it, you see it everywhere.
Game over.
Because they're trying to put some emotional context into the photograph, and it's like, it's a photograph.
We know what a photograph is.
We know what it is. Like, look at it and go like, damn.
I'm real sad, or real happy, or real horny. Man. Like all those things.
Ooh. But don't get on it with your fingers. Don't stick your fingers in the photo.
Jump on it.
Any other big thoughts about this?
No, I was just disappointed. It started pretty high for me, and honestly, I had unreasonably high expectations.
Sure.
So maybe it's my fault. I don't know. I think it's his fault.
Here's my, I think he's a fragile guy. I think he's a really fragile guy.
I believe that.
And I have the feeling, movies are sort of wish fulfillment to him. Like there are many, many, many people. And when you get to be it's like, they're not going to try to take risks with it. When he's in other people's films, he'll take risks. But when he's doing his films, it seems very controlled and kind of like, I need it to be in this very safe zone, as opposed to like, hire a real director, hire a real writer, and have them write you a movie that is for the ages.
Yeah.
Because you can do it. There are movies out there and there are directors out there that'll give you those movies, and just a kind of weak sauce Halloween movie is pretty sad.
Yeah. Weak sauce indeed.
So this is the point at which we pick something that we've enjoyed this week. And I get to go first because I'm cool. I'm picking The Gentleman. 2019 Guy Ritchie.
Oh,
do you know who Guy Ritchie is?
I know who Guy Ritchie is. He ruined Dr.
Dolittle.
Oh God, did he do that Dolittle?
I don't know if he did that one or not. Maybe he did the Sherlock Holmes. I know he did those.
No, yeah, I like those. Aladdin. That's what I was trying to think of. He did the new Aladdin, right?
I don't think did he?
I'm pretty sure. Stand by. Just say what you were going to say, and I'll look Aladdin.
It up. So, The Gentleman's 2019. He goes back to his gangster roots. It's a British gangster movie. Charlie Hunnam, and this big cast, including Colin Farrell.
Oh, I love Colin Farrell.
I'm not a huge Colin Farrell fan because they usually play him as this brooding. They always have him play brooding actor parts.
Sure.
And in this one, he plays a goofy dude, and he is so good.
Have you seen
he's so good.
7 Psychopaths? Is that what it's called?
No.
Yeah, it's great.
Does he play a lunatic, or does he play, what does he play?
He's actually like the main guy, but it's a great movie. Anyhow, you do your thing. Horrible Bosses, how about that? That's a great Colin Farrell performance.
I don't think I've seen that. It's probably comedic, isn't it?
It is comedic. Yeah, he plays this crazy boss. It's great.
He's a very interesting comedic actor, and he just brings a lot of charisma to it and a lot of fun to it. Hugh Grant is in this movie.
I love Hugh Grant.
He does this voice that if you didn't know it was Hugh Grant, you would never know it was him. And he's just great. And it's what's his name? Hi. What's his name? East Texas guy, Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
He's the main guy.
Oh, okay.
And the woman is from Downton Abbey. Just like great cast, and just Guy Ritchie going back to his roots. I loved it.
First, I'm going to see that movie, and just to update, Guy Ritchie did indeed do Aladdin, and
really?
He ruined the song One Jump. That's my problem with it. Other than that, it's a fine film.
Ooh,
anyhow, on to what I saw. I'm breaking the rules a little bit. I'm going to do 2 things that I saw. Well, Dan, I watch 1 to 2 horror movies a day during October. So I've seen a lot of stuff recently, and I'm going to do something old and something new. And then I'll do Bargain Blue next
old,
week.
You mean older than the 80s? Something old is older than the 80s?
I don't think it was. I think it was actually 90s, now that I'm thinking about it. It's Wolf. Have you ever seen Wolf with Jack and Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer?
Oh man, I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Oh, I had never seen it either, and it was awesome. James Spader is in it. Great. It's great little cast. Great little werewolf movie. I enjoyed it. It's like a real movie that just happens to also be a werewolf movie, which is very interesting. And then we saw something new also on Netflix, was The Vampires versus the Bronx, which is not great, but it is pretty good. Like, I liked it a lot. Similar to this movie, it could have been really great. It's kind of a Lost Boys type movie, except for it's takes place in you've never seen The Lost Boys?
Oh, I saw it when it came out, and then I watched it again within the last year.
And you didn't like it?
It's so bad.
It's so good. Bad. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. I watch it every year on Halloween. It
is so corny.
Good. Yeah. Yes. It's cheesy vampire fun. That's my jam, which is what Vampire versus the Bronx is. And I think what suffers is that the budget was too small, because the action scenes are awful. Like, they're really bad, and that kind of drags it down. But the characters and the kids in it are all great, and I really enjoy the story. So it's worth checking out, I think. Those are the 2 things that I really enjoyed.
Hubie Halloween kind of feels like they just sort of give the budget to the cast.
Yes.
And then they don't really, I'm sure everybody's paid really, really well.
Yeah,
and actually
they have friends.
At the end, they have a whole he was very smart, as he's the producer on all these movies, and he got into that very early on and was one of the smartest guys that way.
Yeah.
And so Adam is richer than you can even imagine, because he gets the producer money.
Good for him.
He's a really smart guy. But they have a bunch of clips at the end.
Yep.
And the clips look a lot more fun than the whole movie.
So fun. Everyone looks like they're having the best time. And I'm just like, why can't that come through in the movie? Also, because I just want to be on those sets. Everybody
has to be redeemed in the end. Even the bad guys have to be redeemed. And you're just like, give us a bad guy. Yes. Give us the guy the evil mayor. Give us the monster. Give us the something. But it's like everybody's
Shooter McGavin, one of the best adversaries of any. It's Happy Gilmore. He's the other golfer in Happy Gilmore. He's so good. He makes that movie for me, because he's so good as the bad guy.
Shannon and I were talking about Talladega Nights the other day, and there's not a great movie, but there's some bits, the whole dinner scene is like one of the greatest bits ever. There's just like some great baby Jesus, just like hobo Jesus. There's just like all these great jokes.
Yeah.
But then you have Sacha Baron Cohen come in as the bad guy. And he's a bad guy.
Yep.
You're like, that's the bad guy. And if you're going to wait in a movie till the last 10 minutes and make the bad guy your mom who's not a bad guy, we don't feel fulfilled.
No, I feel cheated. Why did I sit through those 45 minutes that were super unnecessary just to get to an ending that's also super unnecessary? Very upsetting.
So, as we see, Tony, once again, by picking this movie, has ruined Halloween. Halloween destroyed. We don't get to have actual walk around Halloween. And Tony has ruined it too.
And zero fun. No fun at all.
COVID ruined it, so Tony came along and ruined it some more.
I wanted to one-up COVID.
Tony.
That's my only life goal at this point. Make things worse.
So now we're going to head into November, and November, as everyone knows, is the month of romance.
I don't think everyone knows that, Dan.
Yes.
Really?
Get out your photographs of people that you love.
Just grope them.
Make out with those photographs. Oh.
Whoa, racy.
It's getting. So we're going to pick romance movies and romantic comedies all month, and I get to start, and so I'm going to go with what's probably the sexiest movie, maybe of all time, or at least it's advertised as being sexy, and we're going to find out by watching none other than 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey, based on a book, which was fan fiction of Twilight, which is my favorite movie.
That is correct. That is true. I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to, so you beat me to the punch on that one.
How much do I love 50 Shades? How much do I love Twilight?
Twilight's you think it's a cinematic masterpiece and that everyone should watch it and that it should have been Oscar-ly nominated. Oscar-ly? That's not how you say that.
Oscar-ly nominated. That's exactly how I say it. Citizen Kane, 2001. Have you ever seen 2001?
I haven't, but I have seen Citizen Kane, and I just don't get it, you guys. I don't get it. That movie's so boring. I mean, sure, there's some beautiful shots that were ahead of their time, like he's an innovator with the camera, whatever. I don't care. That movie's boring as shit. Anyhow.
Oh my God. I did an interview on Thursday for my other friend. He's doing his show. And I was talking they're big Star Wars people. So I was talking about how Empire is the worst movie ever. And I really pissed some people off. They were not happy with me. I'm going to have to lay low for a while.
Oh yeah? You're doing a bad job.
Can't say bad things about Empire.
Sure.
So we're going to watch 50 Shades, and the arousal level is going to be insane because
12 out of 10.
I expect it to be incredible.
I expect it to be incredible. You got a week to read the book, Stan. You got to know what you're looking at.
Read a book? I'm a movie reviewer. I watch movies. What are you talking about? I watch movies. You only do
one type of media. That's it.
Movies.
All right.
I used to read comic books. Now I watch movies. So this has been Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
And I'm Tony.
And thanks for coming to our little part of the internet. And if you want, leave a comment. Maybe give us a thumbs up because no one does that.
And happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Halloween. I don't think that's a song, Tony.
Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. Hey, watching.